What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I want to talk about the EIDL program. But before we go into that, I owe you guys an apology. You see, over the weekend, I made a mistake. I made a mistake that I should have learned my lesson about from the last 10 months of covering stimulus content, and it seems as though I haven't learned from my mistakes. In fact, I continue to make the same one over and over and over again. And that mistake is putting any sort of emphasis and any sort of hope into the deadlines that the SBA announces. You see, I had predicted, hoped, and expected that the SBA was going to announce and open up the EIDL grant portal. And I was expecting for this to happen at some point yesterday, or at the very least by today, Monday, Martin Luther King Day. But it didn't happen. And there were many of you in the comment section of my last few videos that called me out on this, that said that there was no way the SBA was going to do this today, given the fact that it is a federal holiday. There was a whole lot of you also saying that there was no way that the SBA was going to announce the portal today because they are always behind, they never adhere to deadlines. And yet I ignored all of those calls and I still held out hope that the SBA would do the right thing and announce the EIDL grant portal on Sunday. And yet I was wrong. We are now sitting here today on Monday, January 18th, and we still have not received any sort of update from the SBA. Now, to be fair, there were a fair number of indicators that made me believe that the portal was going to open yesterday, one of which was the $900 billion stimulus package and the timeline and deadline that the government lawmakers had given the SBA to announce deadlines. Number two is following the same pattern as they did with the CARES Act. And had they announced the portal information yesterday as I expected and suspected, they would have been following the same pattern they did back in March with the CARES Act. And number three is that simply they're running out of time. It's almost been a month since the $900 billion stimulus package has been opened up, and they are kind of held to a deadline by lawmakers, and that deadline is coming up very quickly. In fact, in some cases, it's already passed. Because of these things and more, I really thought that the SBA was going to announce the information yesterday, and they simply didn't. And all jokes aside, I am sorry for leading you guys on and making you feel as though the portal was going to open up yesterday when it didn't. And I am not going to be making another EIDL portal video until things are actually open. So the days of speculating, from me at least, are over, and I will not give you guys another EIDL grant portal update until things are solidified and until things are 100% open. So all jokes aside, and in all seriousness, I really do apologize. I shouldn't have spoken up and said that the portal was going to be open without 100% evidence that it was, and it was speculation on my part, and I shouldn't be speculating on something as important as stimulus money. With that being said, I would like to address some of the frequently asked questions that I got in the community page of my channel the other day. Now, I've also been looking at the comment sections of my videos and finding some of the frequently asked questions that you guys asked on a consistent basis, and I would like to take the time in this video to address those. So let's get started. So let's just dive right into it and hit it off with the very first question that I've been getting quite a lot on the channel. And that is, can you receive unemployment and also receive the EIDL grant? And the answer to that question is yes, you could. So remember that the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan are targeted grants this time around, meaning that even if you qualified the first time, it does not mean that you could qualify the second time. There are a slew of different factors that will come into play to determine whether or not you are eligible for the grant. But you definitely could qualify even if you're on unemployment. Unemployment does not affect the eligibility of the EIDL grant. If you guys are interested in checking out whether or not you could qualify based on whether or not you are in a low-income community, as well as whether or not you saw a gross revenue decline between 2019 and 2020, I do have a link to Hello Skip in the description below, and they have a calculator that can help you determine this. So if you're interested in checking that out and learning if you could be eligible, make sure to check that out in the description below. The second question is, I drive for Doordash on the weekends. Could I qualify for the EIDL grant? And the answer again is yes, you could. So if you do a gig economy, and that means hosting on Turo, that means driving for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, all of these kind of overarching gig jobs that we talk about so much on this channel, if you take part in any of those things and you've been doing so since February of last year, then yes, you could qualify. But remember, you do still have to meet the other requirements that I just mentioned, low income community and also showing a gross revenue decline as well. Another question that I've been getting a lot, and this isn't the exact question, it's like a general paraphrasing of the question, is something along the lines of, well, I have a business that I started in the summer of 2020, but it's doing really well and I would love to get a grant to help my business grow. Alternatively, a similar question that I've been receiving is something along the lines of, I have a business, it's struggling because of COVID, but the business was started in late 2020 or mid 2020, so after that February deadline. Could I still qualify for the grant? And the answer to both of these questions is no, you would not qualify because of the fact that you didn't meet that February of 2020 deadline. Now, the thing that's important to remember about the EIDL grant, this targeted EIDL grant that was introduced in this recent stimulus package, it's not like one of those things where you can just meet some of the qualifications and then qualify for the grant. You have to meet all of the qualifications that are outlined by the SBA and by lawmakers. And that deadline of having a business by February 2020 certainly applies to that. So it doesn't matter if you have a business, it doesn't matter if you can show an economic loss, it doesn't matter if you've been affected by COVID. If you do not meet that February 2020 deadline that was outlined in the stimulus package, then you simply do not qualify, and there's absolutely no way around that. You cannot qualify for the grant. Really, I think a good rule of thumb is that if you have a business, even if that business isn't a proper LLC, if you have a way that you've been making money on the side or full time and you can prove this, then you most likely qualify as long as that business started making money before February 2020. I mean, you don't need to have a proper LLC. You don't need to have a proper accountant to vouch for your business having made money. All you have to be able to do is show bank statements, and these bank statements can be in the form of a variety of different things. From, maybe you sell things on eBay and that's like your part-time gig or your side hustle gig, and you have PayPal statements to show that you've been consistently earning money through PayPal over the last year. That could certainly qualify. Maybe you mow lawns during the summer and you have a record showing how much money was coming in. That could qualify you. I mean, there are a variety of different ways that you could qualify for this grant that it would simply take way too long to go over every single scenario in this video. But if you are somebody who's been making money, and if you can prove that, either through P&L, balance sheets, bank statements, whatever the case is, if you can prove that, then you could qualify for this loan, of course, if you meet the other criteria as well. The other questions that I've been receiving, and this is again the last time that I'll address this until the SBA actually provides guidance, as I mentioned earlier, is the fact of, what if you applied over the summer and you were denied and you never received anything? What if you applied over the summer and you got the grant but you didn't get the loan? What if you applied over the summer and you got the loan but you never received the grant? What if you applied over the summer and you were denied on the basis of credit? What do you do in the case of these 4 and more scenarios? And the answer to that is we still don't know. I mean, that's why this SBA guidance that we're waiting for is so important. I mean, aside from the portal opening up and actually physically taking applications, it's also the question of answering these questions that we have. I mean, the question of, okay, what happens if you were denied over the summer? Should you reapply? What happens if you received funds but maybe not as much as you should have gotten? What should you do then? How do you go about applying? Because last time with the CARES Act, the loan and the grant were clumped together as one. What do you do if you are denied the loan? Will you still get the grant? Will the grant be contingent on the loan like it ended up being last time? I mean, there are so many different questions out there that we still do not have answers to. And really, one of the last questions that I've been receiving quite a bit, and this is a question that has, I think, caused some controversy in the comment sections of my videos, as people have been saying I'm incorrect on this, and that is the question of, can you be denied the EIDL grant or the EIDL loan on the basis of credit? And the answer to that is absolutely you can. I mean, this is something that I think is ironic in the worst way possible, denying somebody on the basis of credit for a disaster loan. I mean, you're not going to be applying for a disaster loan if you don't need it. And so the fact that credit is a significant factor in determining whether you're eligible for that, I think is a bit wrong. But that's for another video and another time. But the fact is, you can be denied. I mean, this is explicitly stated in this newest bill. In fact, I did a pretty in-depth walkthrough of this right when this bill was announced. I will link that down in the description below. It explicitly states that yes, you can be denied for the loan and the grant on the basis of credit. And it even goes to say that there are other reasons why you can be denied as well. And I think that the explanation for this, I think that that was done very intentionally. I mean, the SBA and lawmakers alike, they want to keep the requirements really as vague as possible. That way they can be adjusted as needed. I mean, if the SBA is just flooded with applicants, then they may want to tighten those requirement standards, where alternatively, if the response is underwhelming, which is highly doubtful, if it is underwhelming, then they might broaden those requirements a bit. I think that the SBA, and of course I can't speak on the SBA's behalf, I'm not a part of the SBA, but I think that they keep things vague on purpose. That way they can adjust things without real explanation for why they're adjusting them. Honestly though, you guys, I am disappointed that we have not heard anything yet about the EIDL grant. I really was expecting for us to get something this weekend, and had they followed the same path that they did with the CARES Act, we would have heard something. Now, admittedly, and somebody in the comment section of one of my videos yesterday did say that she didn't think that they were going to open it today because of the fact that it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I think that that could be true. I mean, maybe if today wasn't a holiday, they would have opened it. We can't be sure. But I will be paying really close attention to the EIDL news, and you have my word that I will not create another EIDL video until we know for sure what is happening with the EIDL portal. Again, I apologize for giving off so many false alarms. I was pretty confident that they were going to announce it over the weekend, and of course, I was wrong. With that being said, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any comments, questions, if you have anything to add, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Now, one more quick thing before we sign off. So one of the things that I'm wanting to concentrate on in 2021 is expanding my reach into other social media platforms and really being more thoughtful with how I post on social media. So I already do one video per day here on YouTube, and that isn't going to change. I'm going to be doing these like desk style or couch style videos once per day on this channel for the foreseeable future. But one thing I do want to start doing is I do want to start incorporating YouTube shorts into the channel. You guys may have noticed that I've started doing them on and off really sporadically over the last few weeks. And basically what a YouTube short is it's YouTube's competitor to TikTok. It's YouTube's way of integrating like vertically shot video that's 60 seconds or less. And the thing about YouTube Shorts is that it comes up on like the YouTube Shorts section of YouTube, which is like the competitor to TikTok, but it also comes up on my YouTube channel page like a regular video. So one thing that I'm going to be experimenting with probably for the entire month of February is doing one YouTube short per day and also doing one regular like desk style video per day. So if you guys start seeing me posting more like short form, vertically shot, kind of more sloppy, more impromptu videos on the channel, that is what that is. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, if you guys like that, if you don't like it. Really, I'm just wanting to try to figure out new ways to grow my reach, to grow my audience, and to create content that you guys enjoy. So make sure to leave your feedback on that. Also, I will be doing more Instagram posts, and I'm going to start doing TikTok as well. I know. TikTok has such a bad reputation, and I feel like my audience specifically does not really enjoy TikTok, but I think that there's a ton of value in TikTok. I personally love TikTok from the perspective of somebody that watches it. I've never actually made a TikTok, but if you're interested in following me on either TikTok or Instagram, you can do so at aubrey.janik. But with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you like always. Stay tuned for EIDL updates once the portal is open. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.